Fortunate. And so we have a lot to talk about, just a lot to get to. And if you want, hi everybody, welcome to the conversation.
Love, health and wellness, transformation, yeah, we got it. Discuss your breakthroughs, national issues.
Hello, Bohemians, and also with those who are listening around the region and the world.
An audience that really from Europe to the United States, Canada, around the region, and of course, Bahamians right here who are very interested in just wanting to know the answers and ask the questions that get them the answers that they seek. Before we
need a little inspiration, tune into the conversation. Talk about it on the conversation.
This is the time,
when you need a little
Shenique, when the country really need to find ways to join together to fight common problems that we have.
You need a little conversation. We can go far with the conversation. Here with Shenique on the conversation, yeah.
Please share the video, share. Tag some people in the live feed, share it in your private Facebook group, share it in your WhatsApp group.
Here with Shenique on the conversation, yeah.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to the conversation. Good afternoon to all of you. It's a Wednesday, and yes, it's another hot topics. You know, I'll tell you this. Oftentimes, like coming up to an election on the show, which has been, I've been doing this show now for like two elections. Yeah, two elections. So many times, well, you know what? Here I am being presumptuous. I'm not saying there's an election. I'm not saying the bell is wrong. What I'm saying is sometimes we just have more hot topics and more hot topics based on what's going on. And so today is one of those days where on a Wednesday, we come to you with another hot topics. Today, a lot's happening. Of course, you know, Parliament met yesterday for the meeting to extend the emergency orders. Then, of course, another meeting today, and a number of announcements came out of the sitting today. And so we're going to talk about those and a whole lot of other things as well, including a huge announcement that came out of yesterday's sitting that now is making headlines for a whole different reason entirely. But yeah, welcome to the conversation. How's everybody doing? I want to say hi to everybody who was watching really quickly before we get in. Let me get in. By the way, I want you all to help me out. Let's just do this. Let's make this show go viral today. How about that? As you come in, share the live stream. Share the live stream. That's so important for anything that is based on Facebook. Share the live stream, guys. Help me out. Do that one thing. Share. Tag some people in the live stream. Good afternoon. Hi, Kizzy. Good afternoon to you, Kizzy Aisha Newton. First on the show today, first in the live stream. It's good to have you. Hello, Estelle Knowles. Hello, Talia Sawyer. Hi, Terry Pinder. Good afternoon to you in North Eleuthera. Hello, Billy Smith. Hello, Mary Barriento. Hi, Fern Miller. Hello. Thank you very, very much. Hi, Lakeisha Kennedy. Hello, Nicola Saunders. Hello to you, Cheyenne. Dr. Cheyenne Williams. Good afternoon to you. How are you? Hi, Mimi J. Good afternoon to you. Hi, Gano Davis. Hey, hi, Norma Goodman. How are you? Hi to everybody already who is watching. Again, tag some people in the live stream. It's good to have you all streaming. Let's just see who is in the Hot Topics panel already. I know that Obi Roberts was already in. And so good afternoon to you, Obi. It's wonderful to have you here on the show this afternoon. We are expecting Glenroy Pratt and Danielle Gibson. Cara, when they come in, of course, just let them in. Not too late, but let them in when they do arrive. And so we're gonna jump in. Hi to everybody. Thank you very much, Sherelle. Thank you so much. Hi, James Lowe. Thank you. Hi, Linda Forbes. And thank you very much, Gano. Thank you very, very much. And so listen, let's just jump right in now. Who missed what? I'll have to catch up on the next time. So let me just see, Obi. A lot's happening, Obi. A lot's making news this afternoon, since today, actually. And so let's go with, I guess, the good news. The good news is by the end of the month, we will have an additional roughly 200,000 vaccines. In addition to what's already here in terms of the AstraZeneca, we will now have 128,000 plus Pfizer vaccines, and then of course around 40,000 or so from Johnson and Johnson.
Right.
This really is for the people, for those, that's it, who said, you know what, okay, I hear what you're saying, and yeah, I'm interested, or I'm thinking about it, but why can't I have an option? Well, now there's an option of 3 available in the Bahamas. Of course, the Pfizer arrives tomorrow, and the Johnson and Johnson by the end of the month. How significant is this, Obi?
Well, at least, persons who want to take the vaccine, like you said, have choices. There was the AstraZeneca that many Bahamians are taking at first, and now we have Pfizer and the Johnson and Johnson comes in. Because I think some persons who wanted the Johnson and Johnson, you only needed to take 1 shot.
Yeah.
So that 1 shot would have been sufficient instead of taking 2 shots over, I think, a 3-month or 3.5-month time span.
Yeah.
So that gives some persons who want to take different vaccines or different type of vaccine other than the AstraZeneca a quicker time period to be fully vaccinated.
But I'm wondering, Obi, now that you mentioned that, I'm wondering if the Pfizer, which is a 2-jab vaccine, I'm wondering if it's that window as well, because I remember Dr. Kevin Bethel was on the show last week, and he said it's good that the AstraZeneca is that window, because something about how it gives the vaccine time to really do what it's supposed to do until the 2nd shot. I'm wondering if the Pfizer will be the same thing as administered in the Bahamas. Of course, we will see, eh?
I gather much is the same thing. And also, Shenique, another thing you do, we have some people who are also afraid of needles, So, I mean, that's just a reality.
No, you're right. You're right.
Some persons are willing to take the vaccine, but it is administered through taking needles. And you have some people who said, instead of taking 2 shots, let me get this behind me right now. Take 1 shot.
but Obi,
and that's the reality.
And Obi, you know what? A lot of them are men.
Yes.
Listen to me, I know, right?
That is quite true.
A lot of them are men, but listen, we make light of it, but we are happy that this option is here. Someone said to me today, "Oh, Shenique, what you thinking? You thinking about anything?" Because the Pfizer comes tomorrow and the Johnson and Johnson by the end of the month. I said, yeah, it's quite interesting. It's good to know. And so, of course, for those of you again who perhaps may have missed it, it'll be certainly close to 200,000 additional vaccines available by the end of the month here in the Bahamas. And so, of course, we watch to see that. Now, of course, Obi, something that's so troubling, and I know you hear it because you and I talk many times throughout the day, just of the number of cases and how it's so unfortunate for so many people, that's over the last few days.
Even as recent as today, I just got a text, maybe within the hour, a mutual friend of some of us, brother had passed, and then found out that his sister had died, and they have another member of their family who was in ICU battling for their life. All COVID related matters, and the two deaths were COVID related. And so, Shenique, COVID is real. And when we was on the show on Monday, and I told persons, either persons choosing to take the vaccine, or if you choose not to take the vaccine, that still does not stop you from practicing the COVID safety protocols of wearing your mask, remaining distancing, sanitizing your hand, and being accountable to yourself, your friends, and anyone in general. This virus is real, and we should be very serious and accountable to everyone, and starting with ourselves.
Absolutely, Obi, and it is just, guys, be safe out there. Somebody that I know just said that someone came to visit her, and that person ended up testing positive. So she went yesterday because obviously you were in contact with the person. She got the results today. She's positive, and now she has to notify her family. And so that is that.
And Shenique, and see, that is also responsibility. You have persons who contracted COVID would not even inform others that they contracted COVID. Now, what I mean is, I'll contract COVID, test positive, be in contact with persons over the last 2 or 3 days. Now, I will quarantine, but out of the respect of the persons who I came in contact with, you should inform them.
That's
So
true.
they themselves could be tested to ensure that they are negative or positive, so they'll know how to address their current situation. And that's what I'm talking about, being responsible
True.
and accountable to yourself and others. And so, like you said, if you come in contact with persons who may have COVID, or you yourself have COVID and you're in contact with persons, please have them inform others, or you inform them of your current status if you're COVID positive.
Well, listen to this, Obi, just in the live feed. Wow, and Diane, I need to call you and speak with you anyways. Diane Gibson says, we lost a family member to COVID this week. It really hit home. I know her very, very well. She is partially vaccinated, and so I know she takes very, very, very good care because she's a business owner, and so you know what I mean. But the thing is, just as I even explained, you can't say you are. Yes, of course, you're as careful as you can be, but you have to let's put a lot of wisdom behind stuff as we move forward in terms of making decisions for everything. Joylan Henfield, good afternoon to you and Turks and Caicos. Thank you very much, Joylan. Joylan, you ain't been on the show in a minute, eh? I don't think I saw you. Hello, Gano Davis. Yeah, where's Stacy Smith? I absolutely agree. Robin Lee Vincent, good afternoon to you, sir. Divine favors to you as well. As you come in, please, and yes, thank you, Nolan Dorset, absolutely. We extend condolences to Diane Gibson. She is someone I've known for quite a number of years. And so, well, you know Diane as well.
No, and I said it's often my condolences. That's a very painful loss.
Yes.
Especially how, and also, Shenique, because I've had more than 10 persons who I've known since COVID began, and that's just a conservative number, who have died from COVID. Persons my age, one or two younger, and you have a few that was older or much older, like except with my parents. And like this is real. This is very, very real, and we need to take it very, very serious. And like I said, taking the vaccine is a choice, but it does not negate you from being responsible and accountable to yourself and others around you.
I absolutely agree, guys. As you come in, please do share the live stream, share, and accountable to your household and your family as well. And so sometimes you have to make a choice that's good for the how it go again, Obi? For the masses, then, you know, whether the masses in your house, I mean, in your home, in your surroundings, in your community, you know what I mean? And so that's very important. Please do share the live stream. As you come in, share the live stream. Adrian Mott, good afternoon to you. He's watching from Switzerland. You know him. He says how it go. You know Adrian Mott?
Hey, yeah, I know Adrian very well.
Yes. Hello to you, Adrian, in Switzerland. I think there is French there. I wish I could say bonjour. But hi, thank you so much for streaming. Giselle Bailey says, too many treat it like it's some big secret. It's selfish. You could be saving someone's life. I agree with you, Giselle. And so please, number one, if somebody said it today, it was international TV. If you don't have to be out and about, sit home. If you have the choice of working from home, your company has it that way, we'll embrace that and do that. If you have to be to work, then I think there are protocols in place where maybe once a week there's testing, etc., even if you're vaccinated. So that's good. But the thing is, sit at home a lot, sit home a lot and take advantage of those delivery services for grocery and whatnot. And if you have to go to the grocery store, well, in and out, let's just do as much as all of us can do and trust God. With that said, Karen Barr says, everyone I've known had mild symptoms. Thank God, Karen. That is awesome. That is really, really awesome. Hello, Freeport. Dana Paul, good afternoon to you. Venice Penniman, good afternoon. Yes. We all send our condolences to Diane and to everybody else who is watching. Good afternoon to you, Grand Bahama. Ted Cooper, who may have been impacted and experienced in the worst way. Good afternoon to you, Ted Cooper. And so, Obi, again, we are very, very we're happy that more vaccines will be in the country. Of course, now people can take their time, and when I say that, I say that carefully because you don't really take your time, but you understand what I mean, and decide, because now you have three, whether it's the one jab or the Pfizer or the AstraZeneca to choose from, if you do decide to do that. Listen, Obi, did the Prime Minister mislead Parliament on yesterday, when he said, and man, what applause he got, because this is just the most amazing thing, that the country's first Deputy Prime Minister and former Governor General, Arthur Dion Hanna, his image will now be on the $100 bill. Did he mislead the House? Because looked like this was in the works before. What do you think? Just yes or no? He misled.
Well, Shenique, Central Bank clearly cleared it up and provided a timeline that it didn't state which government, but it indicated that it began in 2016.
Sounds to me like the Christie administration.
Right. So the Prime Minister, sadly, he indeed misled the public because he gave the impression.
I want to know. Listen, social media. I want to know what you all think. We can take a quick break. Social media. I want to know if you all think the Prime Minister misled the House. Was it intentional? Was it
Not
something
the House,
that he?
The country too.
The country. You're right. The country. Was it intentional? Was he trying to score political points, or did he just say, or is the PLP trying to make a big deal out of nothing? And the man just say, listen. AD Hanna, his image is going to be on the $100 bill as an honor and a thank you from a grateful country. We are going to take a break and come back as Obi dissects that, and hopefully the other panelists will be in. This is The Conversation. It is a Hot Topics Wednesday. Please do share the live stream. We're going to take a break and come back with more of the conversation right after this.
Make this your best summer ever with Flirty Girl's Sexy Summer Slim Down. Lose weight and win up to $3,000 in prizes. Sign up today and enjoy weekly challenges, weight loss coaching, and unlimited group workouts, including fat blasting boot camp, yoga, Pilates, cardio boxing, hardcore abs, dance off the pounds, and more. Enroll as a VIP and receive a free 7-day detox, 1 free laser lipo treatment, discounts on body contouring, facials, and Brazilian wax, plus massage and sauna treatments for just $1 per minute all summer long. That's right, all summer long. Prizes include 1 year of free body contouring, free fitness programs, and so much more. All participants will be invited to take part in our sexy summer photo shoot to show off their results. So come on, what are you waiting for? Registration ends June 10th. Call 677-1689 or WhatsApp 467-9630 for more information.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back to The Conversation. Glenroy has joined us. Of course, Obi has been here since the start. Thank you all so much for streaming live with us today. Mary Ann Hart says, no, the vaccine doesn't stop COVID because her aunt and her son who took the Johnson & Johnson vaccine now have COVID in the United States, right now in the United States. Absolutely. But the thing is, particularly with this new variant, what is being said about it, gentlemen, and you both can jump in really quickly before we go to the next topic. What is being said is that it's possible that you could contract it, but it'll be almost like, I guess, flu-like symptoms. Glenroy, I know, and you said it from Monday, so it's okay if Obi and I refer to it. You had a touch of COVID with your family just last week, I think it is, and you are fully vaccinated.
Yeah, that is correct. And I believe, thank God, that I was, along with my wife, was halfway vaccinated. I believe that that was a good thing, and I think that helped us through it. My kids had some issues, but it, thank God it wasn't terribly like others, and I'm glad that they're out of it.
Yeah, so we're happy as well that you are. How were your symptoms, if you don't mind sharing?
They weren't bad for me. I mean, predominantly I had, the chills, coughing. Well, the coughing I caught a little early because I knew that. And I did a refresher on know that if you continue to lay down on your back, you can continue to get even sicker because it cuts off the breathing. So I was making sure that I slept and everybody slept like on their stomach to avoid them getting even worse. But when I found that I was laying on my back, I found that I was sicker. The funny thing about it is you are drained, you're tired. You are tired when you start to do activity, but yet at the same time, when you lay down, you feel even worse. It's that kind of situation. So it's similar to the flu, but in a different way. When you try to work it off and you try to have that energy, your mind is there for that, but your body just don't have it.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Of course, Glenroy is vaccinated, and he and his wife, and he shared with us on Monday that thank God everybody is now on the mend, and that's good to hear. Glenroy, we talked about on the first show. The first segment. Kizzy, you say Prime Minister Glenroy Prade. Good afternoon to you, Marsha Roberts. Good afternoon to but Glenroy accepted it, walking today. But listen, we talked about Glenroy. If you put them sign up, wait, listen to me. I tell you all OB, y'all are known for who y'all support. Y'all could do it. Y'all could do whatever y'all want to do. Bring it. Y'all know exactly what I mean.
OB's a good guy, man.
Yeah, but I mean, bring it in a different way. I don't care. Bring it, yes. But so we talked about Glenroy, the fact that by the end of the month there'd be close to 200,000 additional vaccines available in the Bahamas, which is great for people who are considering, or even those who said, "Man, I sure about this AstraZeneca. I'm thinking about something else." And so that we kind of dealt with that. But let's go now to the other topic, and that is this: did the Prime Minister mislead? Unintentionally so, to look good, to gain political points, all those other things, to sound so nice, and did he mislead Parliament, and did he mislead the country?
Shenique, if I may, if I could lead, I like to just allow the public to soak it in for themselves. That's a press release from Central Bank. Primarily, Central Bank of the Bahamas on a heartfelt farewell to Arthur Dion Hanna. Central Bank of the Bahamas offers its condolences to the family of Arthur Dion Hanna on his recent passing. Since 2016, Central Bank has worked along with the government to design a new $100 banknote bearing the image of Mr. Hanna. So, and the version of the $100 banknote would have marked the first occasion in the country's history that a banknote would have borne an image of a living Bahamian, recognizing the individual's contribution to the country's development while still being alive. Despite this turn of events, Central Bank will release the note in September 2021 after 5 years of development. I think, Shenique, that answers your question, whether what the Prime Minister said was misleading or not.
Now, Obi and Glenroy, do you think the Prime Minister knew? Because apparently it seemed they did not, and then because we can talk about the gaps then in government and the government system, but we ain't get there yet. Did he know on Tuesday when he stood up? Because I did not watch the proceedings of Tuesday, which was yesterday, but I understood the leader of the opposition himself got up to say, great, wonderful gesture, wonderful. So do you think they knew of what was in play from 5 years ago? You know what I mean? Or was he really truly trying to make it look like, boy, Hubert Minnis, that's the man right there.
Shenique, if he did,
I'll let you respond 1 second, Glenroy.
Shenique, if he did, he would have said so. I think he was trying to take credit for the fact and give people the impression that it was a kind gesture in the recent passing of, and people must understand also, besides being the deputy prime minister, first deputy prime minister of this country, he was also a serving governor general.
That's right.
Yeah, he was the Queen's representative, and that is also must be acknowledged and highly recommended and respected in the country for his years of service that he provided to the country. But I just think in this moment, I think the suggestion of putting him on the $100 bill is commendable. that is more important instead of trying to get political brownie points as if you made the suggestion, knowing that this was ready in full stream some 5 years ago.
Now, Glenroy, is Obi and his group, are they being just facetious and trying to get one on the prime minister, meaning that the man was just saying, listen, here's what's going to happen. What are your thoughts?
Well, the prime minister articulated what was going to happen, didn't he not? And Mr.
Did
David
Obi,
himself,
did he say it as it's going to happen, or he said like this would this
well,
would be doing?
I always believe the PLP to be a pipeline government, but you need a plumbing government to make it happen. It always on the drawing books, and they always never seem to finish anything that they start in 5 years. And it always takes the after them to execute. And then when they turn around and say, oh, it was our plan. If it was your plan, how come you could not execute? That is always the question,
Wow.
And the reality of it is, listen, and any political genius would take advantage of.
He hasn't answered your question yet. He hasn't answered your question.
I think he getting to it, Obi. I think he getting there.
I don't think that the prime minister was misleading. I think that he articulated what was actually going to happen. Now the central bank.
So then, Glenroy. Why you think central bank had to? Because my God, that's like showing the prime minister en route to somewhere important and then telling people he have no clothes. The emperor have no clothes. What central bank did to me was like, whoa, why? So why you think central bank felt the need to come and put that release out there to pinpoint and highlight that, wait a minute, this man, hold up, this was in play for a long time?
Well, let me put it this way. Maybe because the central bank would have had a conversation with the prime minister, they would have concluded that that is the direction that they were going in. And the central bank in turn just reiterated essentially what the prime minister stated. Now, they said that they were going to do this. Now, they didn't say specifically when it was going to be done. It seems as if that the process was expedited based on the fact that he had passed away. And that leads me to believe that there was a discussion from leadership to let's expedite this now, saying that he has passed away, and now this is an opportune time to make it happen.
But you may laugh, but Glenroy's little explanation sounds plausible. But the point about it is, listen, like, and Obi, get this. Obi, I'll tell you this. You laughing, get this one, Obi. Glenroy say the PLP is good with having things. What how you say it, Glenroy?
In the pipeline. They always in the pipeline, but they just can't seem to flush it out. There's no way flush out government.
Shenique,
Glenroy, I'm sorry, Obi, go ahead.
4 years. They've been in the government for 4.5 years, and now they're getting to it. Now, who's the one who's been delaying things in the pipeline, Shenique? They've been the government for 4.5 years. Another election is coming around.
In the 4.5 years with a pandemic,
but
than the PLP did in 10 years under Barry Christie and Barry Mills.
Gentlemen, though, yes, Obi.
I'll say this. Notice Glenroy ain't get to the point whether he mislead the country or not. He'll dance around it. All we're saying is, like you said, Shenique, central bank had to write a press release clarifying when this whole process began. The prime minister never alluded to that this happened before he became prime minister. Hence the reason central bank had to write a press release just clearing up the timeline process.
And that is why, gentlemen, I want to ask, why is it that we would let, and when I say we, the people responsible, the prime minister doesn't sit and write his own speeches. There are advisors, there's input from here, input from there. Why would we, as people who have the responsibility to play certain roles, why are we falling down on these important roles? And not just to say this prime minister, it appears as though, that we're not taking the roles of governance seriously, of public service seriously. How was that allowed to slip up like that, or maybe not allowed to be expressed as clearly as it should have been?
Shenique, I'll say this in my opinion, regardless who is government, country first, future planning, don't be a reactionary government. All right, be a proactive government, and just speak and educate your people. In a situation like that, yeah, I understand we are in an election year, and before going, the most important thing is that we had the passing of a former governor general, and who happened to be a member of parliament, a former deputy prime minister, and just acknowledging his life, his service to the country of the Bahamas. this here was a little black eye to it, that something had to be, a press release had to be submitted to clarify the prime minister's misinformation that he conveyed to the public. But even though, and the prime minister will have to deal with that at another time, but just wanted to acknowledge and give condolences to the passing of, the former Governor General,
yes.
AD Hanna, and the service that he's given to the country for so many years. And many people, and many people fail to realize he was also the architect of Bahamianization.
That is what, and that's what I want to say too. Like, I almost want to say he is one of the architects of the Bahamas.
Yes.
Of the Constitution as well. And we call Sir Lyndon the father of the nation. Okay, fine, rightly so. But I think AD Hanna is right up there with that.
Yes.
Like, he could share that title.
Shenique, even in his short stature, he was a giant of a man. And obviously he has made a big impact on the Bahamian culture as we know it today. And I think that anytime you would have seen him, you would see a sense of pride that was beaming from him and everything else. You know, one of the acute memories that I have about Mr. Hanna, not that I ever had any encounter with him, but it was just something interesting that I saw in an observation. There was a time when I worked over Paradise Island and I saw Mr. Hanna dropping somebody to work on the back of his truck. This little white truck that he was driving.
This little white truck,
and I was amazed by this. I said, look at the former Governor General. And to me, it appears that he just picked up that individual and just brought them over the bridge so that they could be able to be to work on time. And I applaud that. I looked at it and I was like, wow, that's big stuff, you know. And I mean, and listen, obviously I hear what Obi is saying, and listen, I applaud the man and I applaud his effort, and I thank him and his family for service, because sometimes that we only look at the person in the forefront. The family goes through a multitude of sacrifices and so on and so forth as well. And I want to just say thank you to him and his family for what he's done for the country. But I also want to say this to Obi as well. I know that he is saying that there's a stand because of the prime minister. The prime minister articulated it will happen. He didn't say that my government made it happen. He said it will happen. And so let's be clear.
Okay.
Mr. Davis was also in a thankful mode to the prime minister as well. And I find it strange that in his thankfulness, he failed to forget or did not remember that they started the process, which tells me.
Listen to me. Glenroy, I'll tell you this. The two of them look like they weren't informed, but they did not know. That's the first time. And that's why he stood up and said, oh, excellent job, you know, wonderful gesture, etc. The two of them. But that is what I'm saying. Like, how can we be so sloppy as senior civil servants, as instruments, as somebody said to me just before the show, instruments of government or governance that should be in place, just appear so just sloppy sometimes, you know? Make sure the emperor looks good before he steps out. And even in the case of the leader of the opposition, like don't have them slipping like that, because it ain't you and snickering behind them. It's the country.
But I would like to know why the PLP also have this author on their posting as well. As I understood it, he didn't want the title. And so why are we putting, listen, he's deserving of any title in my view, but why would you put it on there when he is not interested in having the title there?
No, he was one of those he was one of those who turned it down. Absolutely. Some
people thought that he was knighted author, and Glenroy's correct. He never wanted to be knighted. Now he was gladly, he would have accepted any honor that was Bahamian bestowed upon him. That was something that he was very welcoming.
Was he ever named a national hero, Obi, since he did not want that sir title of that knight to be knighted?
I don't think so, you know, Shenique. I mean, and that is something that's definitely long overdue. I mean, the last set of persons who were honored as national heroes was Sir Lyndon, Sir Cecil, Sir Milo. Then you had Sir Randall Fox, and it was a fifth person as well. That was just, I think, 3-4 years ago. That was hailed as natural heroes. So Mr. Hanna should definitely be up that way. Many people fail to realize he came into the PLP months, I think maybe 2 months after it was formed in 1953. So wow. He was there basically from the inception. Exactly.
That's why I said he can wear that title just as well as the father of the nation, one of the founding fathers. He certainly can wear that title, and the title belongs to him, quite frankly. And Glenroy, to your point, I didn't meet him a lot, but I met him as well, obviously not as Deputy Prime Minister. I just met him as, AD Hanna. And then again, as Governor General, I sat and interviewed with him on majority rule. And exactly as you saw him, and as you said, he was that person. Of course, Obi can tell us a bit more, but he was that person. No pretense, no nothing, just very airy, very nice, no qualms about him. Just a loving, kind man, with a great sense of humor. The little white truck, as you said, and sometimes be like, well, wait, sir, you're supposed to have your little aid with you and stuff. No, when the time was to cut that off, AOB, he would cut that off, and I bet you saw him by himself, Glenroy. You saw him by himself.
Oh yeah, yes,
Yes,
indeed.
And driving himself in the little white truck.
Scooting around.
Yeah, exactly, moving about, And so,
Reservoir of knowledge.
uh-huh.
He was a reservoir of knowledge. The one of the conversations I had with Mr. Hanna, he was at Nassau Stadium where he used to frequent, and he used to eat meals there. And I spoke to him for about almost an hour, and that entire time I was being educated on the history of the politics in the modern day Bahamas in terms of his fingerprints and the involvement of his colleagues of that era, but what they were moving towards, what they were looking to accomplish. And it gave me a greater appreciation of where we were today for the many sacrifices that they went through to give us the life that we have today. But many of us generally take for granted, Shenique, the many hardships that they endured to give us the life that we afford and have today.
Yes, absolutely. And so we again salute him, his family. We thank him for his service. And of course, there will be a number in a time like this. That's the sort of unfortunate thing. But I'm sure as it can happen, there will be a number of national observances for the life of author Dion Hanna. Guys, when we come back, what is this? In the news today, the Auditor General wants to know from the government, it says, who are the firms and who the firms belong to who got contracts during COVID or contracts for COVID to carry out various duties and what? Listen, you can't make this stuff up. We're going to talk about that, y'all. What happened? How come the questions aren't being answered? Why the questions to begin with? When we come back, this is the conversation. If you haven't done so already, please do share the live stream. It's good to have you all streaming. I'll get to some of your comments when we come back. Share the live stream, and don't go anywhere. We're going to take a break and come back right after this.
How would you like to shed some extra inches of unwanted belly fat? Did you know that there are alternatives to surgery to get rid of unwanted fat? Let Therapy Natural Health Spa without surgery. Therapy Natural Health Spa employs a series of methods in a customized plan to suit your fat loss goals. Target those stubborn and challenging areas on the body with our cavitation body shaper that uses heating lasers to break up and melt fat during each session. Did you know that as you drink water and exercise, that your lymphatic system and liver work together to help eliminate fat? Let Therapy Natural Health Spa help you get the results you've been waiting for. Call us for a free consultation and let Therapy Natural Health Spa work out a plan for you. Check us out on Instagram or Facebook. Our numbers are 393-1126.
Maybe it's for the thrill, or the scenery, or maybe you do it for the speed, or maybe it's for the baby. It might just be for the next stop, or even for the beautiful moments. Whatever your reason for driving, we'll be there to keep you going. Atura Auto, servicing your vehicle at a price that keeps your pockets happy. Call us today.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the conversation. It is Hot Topics Wednesday. Let me get to some of your, by the way, thank you so much to all of our sponsors. If you would like to sponsor the show, please do hit us up in the inbox. Certainly, of course, you can even rent the space. How about that? But absolutely, take out monthly ads, and that'll be really, really awesome. We appreciate that. Let's just see if we have any comments before we go to the Sherelle Cox. It was obviously in the making years in advance. No way the government can make a decision that quickly. And Sherelle, you're right, because that is what central bank said, that it's a process. Even now, it's a tedious process. It doesn't happen overnight. There are so many things that go into deciding the bill, this new bill. After they didn't make the decision for a million years, then the image and the right image and all that stuff and the approvals and all that, all of that goes into deciding who is going to grace a banknote, a Bahamian banknote, for example. And somebody asked, gentlemen, that the fact that we're removing the Queen, what does that mean? Is that something that says, oh, the Bahamas is taking a different direction in terms of some of the calls to become fully independent of the crown? You think? I said it has nothing to do with one, has nothing to do with the next.
I think everything is gradual steps. Eventually, I think it'll get there. At the end of the day, we running our country, and we look at the Queen for what it is, but I think eventually we'll get there.
Okay, you obviously you're not going to chime in.
No, I said, Shenique, I think it's long overdue. We have many local heroes who have contributed to the development and the advancement of our country, Black and white Bahamians, whose history should be acknowledged and well documented and celebrated. It's not a matter of dismissing the Queen, but we have persons, history Bahamians, whose contribution should be acknowledged, celebrated, and known to present and future Bahamians. Mr. Hanna is one of them. Sir Lyndon is one of them. Sir Cecil is one of them. Not just political heroes, religious heroes, cultural heroes, nation builders, persons who contributed to the advancement of our country. And that is something that we owe to present and future Bahamians in terms of where our country has come from. That is very, very important in terms of the growth of any country. You take a look at America. America, after what? How many hundreds of years of their independence? You still know who their presidents are. You still know what their contributions are. Their knowledge in their holidays and other persons who've contributed to the advancement of America. The same. I'm not saying adapting the same thing, but understanding that these persons who built the modern Bahamas acknowledge their contribution, and that's the only way that we could appreciate our country in terms of where we come from as Bahamians.
Yeah, and that we would remember them and know. And you're right. You know, when you see President's Day, when you see the other holidays that they have, it brings to memory, and perhaps it's also taught in the school, but it brings to memory, wait a minute, yeah, this person, George Washington, did, you know, he was the first this, and Abraham Lincoln and the rest of it. And of course, Martin Luther King holiday as well. And they pay attention, of course, with the honoring on the money, especially to the presidents, they do this. And so it's just a way of honoring those who would have laid the foundation and done very well for the country, like Glenroy said, sacrificed so much of their life, their families sacrificed. And you're right, it's just something to do. But guys, let's quickly get to this topic now. Here's the headline. I'll read an excerpt and then we'll go. Who owns firms given COVID contracts or government COVID contracts? Auditor General reveals his request for beneficial owners list still pending. Here's an excerpt. This is the Tribune today. The government has failed to meet the Auditor General's demand to provide ownership details on all the companies awarded COVID-related contracts, despite this being deemed pivotal to good governance. The revelation contained in the Office of the Auditor General's report on how the government used the proceeds from last June's emergency $250 million International Monetary Fund, IMF loan that kept the country and government afloat during the pandemic's peak, reveals its request for information on who beneficially owns these entities remains pending. Guys, is this something that that is a red flag or several red flags for us. The fact that this information appears hard pressed in coming out and being presented to the Auditor General for him to finish this report or plug in these gaps. Okay, since you're all thinking about it, let me just continue reading. The June 25th, 2021 report tabled by House Speaker confirmed that the Auditor General and his staff were provided by the Minutes Administration with a list of companies that received payments for the delivery of goods and services related to COVID-19. That list was not disclosed in the report, which suggested that the information made available by the government fell some way short of the full transparency in its internal financial watchdog. Full transparency its internal financial watchdog was seeking. Request was made for the beneficial ownership of these business entities. However, the same is pending, the Office of the Auditor General said. Now, guys, this is, of course, to do with, since it all of it, listen to me, you all know Glenroy and Obi, I have to fight them to shut up. Not today. You all know this money, this $250 million was a part of emergency funds, a loan that the government received from the IMF, International Monetary Fund, to keep the country going. Obviously, a number of services in those emergency circumstances had to be performed, and so contracts were given. Where was I? Contracts were handed out, contracts were given, and so. But as a part of being accountable and transparent, the Auditor General is now seeking to complete its report or carry out a report to say, okay, well, this is how the itemized sort of awarding of these contracts and monies, etc. And Obi, Glenroy is having internet issues. I hope he comes back in. But Obi, this appears to be an issue. It appears to be stalling somewhat.
Well, Shenique. When I heard about it, I wasn't surprised. You remember, many persons was asking questions, regardless to the company that was collecting the health visa funds. And if you notice, recently the government has now waived the health visa payments. Now we wonder, does this have anything to do with the Auditor General asking questions on what you just articulated a moment ago? And also, Shenique, does this also may have any involvement with the report that came from the United States on our government in terms of alleged corruption in terms of some government dealings? So it's interesting that you see all of these things coincide around the same time, and many people are left to ask many questions and waiting to see when the government is going to respond in detail to the Auditor General's request, because there's so many things. I could ask many questions and like to know what was going on with this whole particular matter right now when you're dealing with millions and millions of the Bahamian taxpayers' dollars.
Glenroy, your thoughts? Do you think they're just trying to get the reports together before they submit it?
You know what I find amazing? Obviously, I know we would use that and paint a picture in the direction that is favorable to the PLP. But let me say this, and I understand that the country, they hold the FNM to highest standard because they always seem to be the one that provides more information.
All I want you to do, Glenroy, first, before you go on that same tangent, answer this question right here, then go and talk about Obi them. Obi them in no position to point no finger.
Thank you, Shenique.
See, one of the things is that this government have put in many measures to ensure that there is consistency in governance in terms of government behavior. Listen, I owe no brief for anybody. If you have a business, the information should be publicly disclosed and everybody should know. That's one of the reasons why the government passed the procurement bill, to make sure that whenever you're doing business with the government, that information is out there. So they are in keeping with that. I don't have a problem with it. I believe that if there's some shadiness going down, by all means, lock whoever up. I don't have a problem with that. But I know the government has always been more transparent than the PLP. That is a fact. Now, here's the other thing I'll say as well, as it relates to the situation, right? At the end of the day, all right, what's going to happen is nothing. There's nothing going to happen. I remember when the PLP was being asked about the urban renewal situation, and the then chairman or the then Speaker of the House stayed the hand of the people who were the auditor and the questioning of that information. They couldn't get any information on urban renewal 2.0. And I wonder why was their hand stayed. All right. But again, like I said, the government has an opportunity, and I'm sure that this will be revealed for the bottom line.
Shenique, all of that Glenroy said, he ain't answered your question yet. I wonder if the Auditor General asks them how much money has been collected. Has any money been deposited in the consolidated fund? These are the questions that the Bahamian people want to know in terms of how much money has been collected, and has it been deposited in the consolidated fund, or is it in a private bank account? These are the things that people want to know, and maybe what the Auditor General is asking the Bahamian people. But Glenroy said that this government is being accountable and transparent. This what this government was. They was elected, and they promised the Bahamian people that they were going to be accountable. They were going to be transparent. But obviously, we're not seeing that in their dealings, Shenique.
Gentlemen, I want to spend the next few moments talking about Monday. The Speaker of the House of Parliament, Housen Mutri, was here, and he talked about like, the open parliament will happen once whatever these parliamentary proceedings are, once they are done, the open parliament will happen. Guys, let's talk about that concept of an open parliament. Is that somewhere, because he said what it will do is afford everyday Jane and Joe to show up and express their views, have their say, want to just somehow, I guess, get involved in the system of governance on that level. Your thoughts about what that means, and is it something that the country is ready for?
Shenique, I think we can. It all starts with maturity. It all starts with maturity and how you conduct yourself if you want to have a public parliament like that. You just can't come there and do or say what you want. When you're dealing with the parliament that runs our country, where our political leaders and the cabinet of the Bahamas operates, we just have to be accountable in our actions. And if you're seriously interested in seeking information, then you present your questions. If you're coming there to vent, I don't think that's the place you come there to vent. You come there to present hard, tangible questions that are about the importance of our country or the advancement of our country. If you have any personal issues, then go and see your member of parliament. Maybe that could be addressed there at his office, whether whoever is the government. But when you open up a forum like that, you're in danger of opening up to the wrong set of persons who come in there and making it a political circus, rather than about the people's business and advancing the country. That is my personal opinion about it.
Glenroy, I like what Obi said. Don't make it a circus, because it's not the place to come and vent. It is the place to come and truly express what your opinions or views might be, ask questions to get answers that you really need to be able to move forward and make great decisions, and that kind of thing. Your thought about this open parliament that the speaker says will happen, or he has plans to make happen, and really, how significant is it to maybe, I don't know, afford Bahamians for the first time ever this sort of voice or audience?
Well, my thinking is this: if members of parliament, and that's across the divide, if they're doing their jobs effectively, there's no need for Bahamians to physically go there and express themselves. Because obviously that's what a member of parliament job and responsibility is. When you go into the House of Assembly, you're speaking not on your personal behalf. That's why I challenge any minister who stands up and say, I have to do what's best for me. That's why I challenge anybody who goes there and talk about themselves when they're talking about they stand on this and they stand on that. That's rubbish. You are standing on the voice and the opinions and the belief of your constituents. You ain't there to represent yourself, your agenda. Now, when you go there, you go and you say, I stand on the behalf of the good citizens of Golden Isles. I stand on behalf of the citizens of St. Barnabas. But you bet your spoken to these citizens. You've had an interaction with your constituents, so that when you represent their views, you're speaking with a solid voice. Far too often, members of parliament go in the House of Assembly with their own agendas, and that's why we see the situation that as it is today. where some start talking about their personal this and that and the next thing. Nobody cares about your personal stuff. We care about the Bahamian people's business being executed. And if members of parliament remember that, then we will always have a situation where the voice of the people will always be heard.
That's very, very true. I agree with that point as well. Gentlemen, I give you an opportunity, each of you, to wrap up.
Shenique, just in that, I could concur with Glenroy to a larger degree with that. But you have some persons who would like to come to Parliament to voice their concerns with everyone, whether it's the opposition side, whether it could be the government side, or maybe addressing the Speaker of the House. Because as I said, it is the people's parliament, and some persons would like to have their opinions heard, their suggestions heard. And we have had in the past, which is well documented, and in the present, neglectful representation in the constituency. And then you may have some members of parliament, as you hear the Speaker of the House said, I think someone had asked him, they wanted to see him, and he said it takes him over a year to see almost 6,000 persons in his constituency. That may be one of the persons that they're not able to see in their constituency, so the constituent came to Parliament. They want to probably address their concerns there. But in that, Shenique, I wrap up, and I just want to say one last thing to persons, please. Regarding COVID, practice the safety protocols. Wear your mask, whether you're vaccinated or not, and please be accountable to yourself, your family, your friends, and other fellow Bahamians and other persons, please. This virus is real, and please take all the required safety measures to protect yourself, your loved ones, and everyone else around you, please.
Absolutely, Obi. Glenn Wright?
Yeah, I just wanted to echo what Obi said, and I agree with him 100%. And in addition to that, in this electoral process, I ask and urge every single Bahamian, don't sit back and rely on parties to provide you with information, and you don't seek it for yourself. Find out what they're offering, what they're saying, and what it is that is going to take you to the next step as a Bahamian citizen. Far too often, we get tantalized by words spoken, but they don't have any substance behind them, and they have no true depth in where the country is going. Find something that will take you closer to what your goals and vision are for this country. True. And if you find that a party does that more than the other, support it and go after it. Because at the end of the day, we cannot continue on this 5-year switching government cycle every 5 years, because we will be stagnated as a people. We cannot get much done in a 5-year cycle, but we have to elevate our game plan. But that's by every citizen being involved, engaged, and active in their communities. And like Obi said, let's take this COVID very seriously. Let us change the course of the COVID situation. I think in one of those Grenada or one of those countries today, they reported over 4,000 cases in 1 week and 35 deaths, okay? In
a Caribbean,
all right,
a Caribbean country.
A Caribbean island. I think it's either, I don't know if it's Grenada or one of the countries. I can't remember what it is. But they just reported it. And so what I'm saying is that we as a people got to take this thing very seriously, because our livelihood depends on us being serious about this. We are one Bahamas. Despite the divide that you may see in terms of a political discussion, there's no hatred between Obi and myself, all right? I love this brother, all right? He's a good fellow. But at the end of the day, we have to think as Bahamians. That's the bottom line.
Mm-hmm. Yes, absolutely.
Glenroy is my friend. Likewise, as Shenique is my friend. We are all Bahamian brothers and sisters under this beautiful Bahama land that we live in.
That's right, absolutely. And that is what I like. That's why I like to bring different views here. So the country can see that there are different views being expressed, but these people don't hate each other. They get along, they respect each other. And when we used to meet in person, you should have seen them in person. And so, of course, they express their views and they do that. But in person, all of that disappears, and they are totally just individuals and Bahamians having respect for one another. I thank you all so much, gentlemen, very much. Always prepared, always knowledgeable, and always up for a good discussion. And I appreciate that from each of you. Also, thank you very much. Obi, I know you're rushing to another show. If you put your hand up one more time, Glenroy, I just want to see it one more time. I thank you, social media audience. Thank you so much for streaming live today. If you haven't done so already, share the show. Kizzy, no 2 hours today. No, ma'am. And Joylan, what's happening in Turks and Caicos that you agreeing with her? What's happening? But listen, I thank you all so much. Thank you. Have a great day, everybody. Kara, thank you. And see you all on the next live.
conversation. You